whatever the financial statement I have prepared at the end of the financial year may go wrong because I have left out certain transactions. In each and every year, if we are maintaining a proper books of account, of course at the end of the financial year, we can prepare a proper financial statement. We know we have to record the transactions that can be measured only in terms of money. But do you think the value of the money will remain same? No, it keeps on changing. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. My dear students, today we are in the third session of Unit 1 of the subject Fundamentals of Business Accounting, and this is for first sem B.B.A students. And the Unit 1 is all about Introduction to Financial Accounting. So already we have discussed few of the concepts. Let us quickly recall what we have discussed in a previous session. So in a previous session, I have covered this topic, that is we were discussing about accounting, where we have learnt about scope of accounting and various functions of accounting. So how this accounting or what is the scope as well as functions of accounting. So in today's session, we shall continue with a new concept, that is advantages of accounting. So today we are going to learn about all the advantages as well as disadvantages of accounting. Now quickly we shall see the advantages here. The following are the advantages of a properly maintained accounting system. So as we all know, we can't record the transactions as per our wish. So we have to follow certain principles, concepts, conventions of accounting. That is, which is given by the GAAP, that is generally accepted accounting principle. So we are going to learn about GAAP later on in the next session. So we have to follow certain accounting concepts, accounting principles and accounting conventions while recording the transactions. So let us see what are the main advantages of accounting here. So the first one is replaces memory. So as we all know, we can't remember each and every transaction that takes place daily in an organization. Because if you take about a big organization, there are number of transactions that takes place daily. It may be relating to purchase, it may be relating to sales, it may be relating to cash. So there are number of transactions that takes place daily. So we can't remember each and every transaction in our memory. So what we are going to do? Anyhow, we are going to ascertain the profit or loss of a financial or of a financial organization at the end of the financial year. Correct? So, in order to know the net profit or net loss of an organization, we have to know whatever the transaction that have taken place in that financial year. So we can't remember each and every transaction in detail. So for that reason, we are going to record each and every transaction as and when it takes place in the organization. So since all the financial events, that is the transactions or the events that takes place in a financial nature that can be measured in terms of money. So financial events are recorded in the books. So here, recording of the transaction means what? We are going to maintain a book. That is, in order to record all the transactions. So recorded in the books, there is no need to rely on memory. So we can't depend on the memory. As I told, there are number of transactions that takes place. So we can't remember each and every transaction. The books of account will serve as a historical records. So here, whatever the transaction, what we are going to record in the books of account, so it will always act as a proof and it can be termed as a historical record. In the sense, the transaction which have already taken place, that we are going to record in a books of account. Any information required any time can be obtained from these records because it is being preserved carefully. So not like memory where you forget something, but if you write in a book, so all the accounting transactions or the financial transactions that happens daily in an organization will be maintained in a particular book, so that if the organization wants to recall or if it wants to revise the transaction, it can refer those records. Now, coming to the second advantage is that provides control over the asset. Since we have a proper account of each and every transaction, here we can have a control over the asset. So, it may be current asset or it may be fixed asset. So, accounting provides information regarding balance of cash in hand and cash at bank. So, what is the value of cash in hand? What is the opening cash in hand? What is the closing cash in hand and opening cash at bank and closing cash at bank can be ascertained very easily. The stock of goods, so like that the current assets like stock of goods on hand, the amount receivable and various parties, the amount invested in various other assets, etc. Information about these matters help the owners and management to have a proper control over the asset. So, if we don't have any record of these assets, then we will not know what is the asset. So, how much investment we have made, what is the total value of the asset which is there in the organization. So, we will not have any information about it. So, if we maintain a proper books of account, so since all the transactions are recorded there, so we will have a proper control over the asset and the organization will know what is their investment in that particular year and what would be the transactions that have taken place in that particular year. So, in order to maintain a proper control, of course, accounting is very essential. Now, coming to the third advantage, facilitates the preparation of financial statements. Of course, the main intention of recording each and every transactions daily, that is, in order to maintain a proper financial statement at the end of the financial year. Suppose the transaction what that have taken place today. So, if I don't record those transactions, then whatever the financial statement I have prepared at the end of the financial year may go wrong because I have left out certain transactions. So, here the main intention of recording each and every transaction in the books of account, the ultimate aim is that in order to prepare a proper financial statement, that is trading profit and loss account as well as balance sheet. So, with the help of the information contained in the accounting records, so in accounting records, as and when the transactions have taken place, immediately we will record those transactions in the books of account. So, which is called as what? Accounting record. Financial statements such as profit and loss account and balance sheet. So, which are the financial statement? That is profit and loss account and balance sheet. So, whatever the records what we are going to maintain in the books of account, so thereby it helps the preparation of financial statement at the end of the financial year. So, which are the financial statement we are going to prepare? That is profit and loss account and balance sheet. So, these statements enable the businessman to know the net results, that is the financial position, as well as net profit or net loss of the business organization. So, in order to get, or if the financial statement has to be accurate, then each and every day, whatever the transaction have taken place, so that has to be immediately recorded in the books of account. In the sense, a proper accounting system has to be maintained in order to get a accurate financial statement. Next advantage is that meet the information requirements. So, there are number of users. I have already told you there are number of users who may be internal users or external users who are dependent on accounting information. So, in order to maintain or in order to fulfill their demand, so we have to maintain a proper account so that we can present them in the form of financial statement. So, various interested parties. So, as I told you, there are number of users who are dependent on accounting information. So, they are known as interested parties such as owners, management, lender, CEO, president of the company. For them, so if they are on demand of the accounting information, then the organization can provide the accounting information as per their demand. So, in order to meet the information requirements, in order to meet their demand to get the financial records, so we have to maintain a proper financial statement. Next one is facilitates a comparative study. Of course, in each and every year, if we are maintaining a proper books of account, of course, at the end of the financial year, we can prepare a proper financial statement, whereby we will come to know the net profit or net loss of the organization as well as financial position of the organization. So, if each and every year we are going to maintain the same books of account, then we are able to compare the result of one year with the another year. In the sense, suppose in 2019, what was the net profit? And in 2020, what was the net profit? And in 2021, what is the net profit? So here, all the 3 years net profit can be compared with each other, whether there is any improvement or whether we have to improve in the future. So these aspects can be identified very easily if we maintain a proper books of account. So here, easy comparison from year to year can be easily made. So the financial statement prepared will enable the enterprise to compare its present position. So it will be able to compare the present position with that of the past as well as with the future. So here a prediction can also be made. So depending upon the present position, a prediction or estimation can also be made about the future profit or loss. So, with that of its past and with that of the similar organization. It's not only relating to that particular organization where they are going to compare the accounting results year after year. So, it's not limited only to that. Here, the results can also be compared with other organization also. Suppose if there are two organizations, A Limited and B Limited. So, if both the organizations are maintaining proper books of account, then the result of A Limited can be compared with that of B Limited. So, thereby they'll come to know who are their competitors, how they have to overcome them. So, these information can also be obtained through accounting. That is, they can compare the information, accounting information with that of the past and with that of other organization also. So this helps them to draw useful conclusion and improve its performance. So when they are able to compare from one term to another term, then they'll come to know what is the net profit they are going to earn, or whether it is in increasing mode or decreasing mode, or what the improvement they have to make. So, all these information can be obtained here. Next one is assess the management in many ways. Of course, if we know the exact financial results of a particular organization, we will come to know how the management has to be run. So, what are the measures that can be taken in order to improve the organization? So, in order to take a particular decision, of course, this financial information plays a very important role, or the accounting information plays a very important role. So, it is possible to identify the reasons for the profit earned or the loss suffered. So, if we are going to maintain a proper books of account, of course, at the end of the financial year, we'll come to know the net profit or net loss of the organization. So, suppose it is net profit. So, what are the decisions that has to be taken based on net profit? So, if it is net loss, then what are the improvements that can be taken in the future in order to increase the profit? The identification of reasons helps in taking necessary steps to increase the profit further or to avoid losses. So, thereby we will come to know, so what is the main reason for earning profit and for where the importance has to be given more, so that we can maximize our profit and minimize the loss. So, accounting information will also helps in planning and controlling the activities of the business. That is, thereby it is useful in the management decisions. So, it helps in planning, organizing, directing, controlling and communicating of accounting information. So, all these management decisions can be based on accounting information. And the seventh advantage is that difficult to conceal fraud or theft. So, if we are going to maintain a proper books of account, of course, each and every transactions that have taken place daily will be recorded in a books of account. So, thereby there is a less chances for these theft as well as fraud. So, here it is difficult to conceal fraud, theft, etc. as there is a automatic check in the form of periodic balance of books of account. Of course, after maintaining each and every books of account, auditing also takes place, whereby we will come to know whether there is any mistakes what we have made, whether there is any theft, whether there is any fraud, or any intentional or unintentional errors is been conducted. So it is very difficult if we maintain a proper books of account. So once if we prepare books of account, so then it goes for auditing also. So thereby there is a less chance for these types of activity. So further, the big organization where the record keeping work is divided among many persons, so that chances of committing fraud as well as mistake is very less. So as I've told you, if we are going to maintain a proper books of account, then there is a less chance for fraud as well as mistakes or committing mistakes, frauds, theft, etc. Because in the big organization, a single accountant cannot maintain the books of account. So the work will be divided among number of accountants. Each will be assigned in a particular work. So thereby there is a less chances for these type of activity. So this is also one of the advantage here. It is difficult to conceal fraud or theft. And the next advantage is that tax matters. So when relating to tax also, so it is helpful for the tax authorities also, because if we maintain a proper books of account, so whatever the records which is being asked by the tax authority, so it can be provided easily without any doubt. So the government levies various taxes such as customs duty, excise duty, sales duty and income tax. So the government will levy certain tax based on the accounting information. So properly maintain accounting records will help in settlement of tax matters with the tax authorities. So in order to fulfill the demands of tax authorities, so they will ask for certain records of an organization. So if the organization is maintaining proper record, then they can fulfill the demand of tax authority also. Next one is ascertaining the value of the business. So suppose if the organization is going to wind up, then we have to know what is the value of the business. So if we maintain a proper books of account, of course immediately we can see what is the actual value of the business. So if we don't maintain the books of account, then it is very difficult. So in the event of sale of a business, so in the event of sale or in the event of time of winding up of the business, the accounting records will help in ascertaining the value of the business. Suppose if the organization wants to sell itself to the other organization, or if they are going for mergers and acquisitions, then of course they have to know the value of the business. Correct? So at what price they can sell their business. So if they are maintaining a proper books of account, they can easily ascertain the value of the business. By now, you must have got a overview of accounting. In a sense, you must have understood what are the various advantages of accounting. So, if you see the advantages, there are number of advantages. So, it may be relating to the tax authority, or it may be relating to the government officials. So, or it may be relating to the sale of that particular organization. So, there are number of advantages. So, it is better to maintain. So, and each and every organization these days, they will maintain proper books of accounts. Now, coming to the disadvantages. So, we have already learned few of the advantages here. Now, let us see what are the disadvantages of accounting. So, the first one is expresses accounting information in terms of money. So, let us discuss each and every point in detail. Now, go through the disadvantages here. So, we are going to record the accounting information only in terms of money. But there are number of transactions which affects the profitability of the business, but we will not record those transactions even though it is important. So, we will record the transaction which can be measured only in terms of money. Next one is accounting information is based on estimates. So, let us see why it is a disadvantage later. Accounting information may be biased, a recording of fixed asset at the original cost. Next, manipulation of account. There may be a chances of manipulation of accounts also. Money as a measurement unit changes its value. So, these are the few disadvantages of accounting. So, as we have discussed in the advantages, of course, we have to maintain a proper accounting system because it is advantageous in many ways. Now, let us see how this accounting is disadvantageous. Now, coming to the first point, that is expresses accounting information in terms of money. So, we know this non-financial transaction. So, there are a number of transactions that takes place in an organization. It may be financial transaction or it may be non-financial transaction. Financial transaction in the sense what? The transaction that can be measured in terms of money, whereas non-financial transaction, so these are also transaction of the organization but cannot be measured in terms of money. Now, both the transactions are very important in an organization. But in accounting, what we will do? We will not record the non-financial transaction. Already we have learnt in the feature, we will record only those transactions that can be measured in terms of money. Then you might have a question, even though the non-financial transactions are very important in the organization, why don't we record those non-financial transactions? So here the accounting concept itself tells that, so in money measurement concept itself tells that we have to record those transactions which can be measured in terms of money. But why it is a disadvantage here? Even the non-financial transaction also plays a very important role. So, if we are not going to consider non-financial transaction, then the exact result what we are getting, so that is not accurate. So, non-financial transactions that cannot be measured in terms of money cannot be given effect to in the books of accounts. So, the best example of non-financial transaction is that resignation of an effective employee. So, as I have already mentioned the word effective here, in the sense his role in the organization is more important for the profitability of the business. Now, an effective employee has been resignated from the organization. Of course, the production decreases, thereby it affects the profitability of the business. But even though it affects the profitability of the business, but we can't record in the books of account because the effectiveness of an employee cannot be measured in terms of money, right? So, those transactions, that is non-financial transaction, even though it is important, we will not record in the books of account. Only transactions of financial nature, that is which can be measured in terms of money, are measurable by the accountant. In fact, financial transactions are expressed in terms of money. Even the money measurement concept itself says that we will record only those transactions that can be measured in terms of money. Now, coming to the second disadvantage, accounting information is based on estimates. So, there are certain assumptions which are made by the accountant based on which the accounting information will be recorded. But it may not hold good sometimes. So, based on those estimates or based on those assumptions what the accountant have made, it may affect the profitability of the business. So, this is also one of the disadvantage here. So, based on the assumption or estimates of the accountant, we cannot take the proper decisions. So, there are some accounting data which are based on estimates. Thus, accuracy in estimates is possible. So inaccuracy takes place there. So, we cannot get the accurate results from these estimates and we cannot take a proper decision based on estimates in accounting information. Now, coming to the third disadvantage, accounting information may be biased. So, it may be biased in terms of accountant also. So, accountant's personal influence. So, there may be a personal influence by the accountant while recording the transaction in the books of account, which may not hold good and thereby it affects the accuracy of accounting information. So, accountant's personal influence affects the accounting information of the entity. Different methods of inventory valuation, depreciation methods, treatment of reserve and capital expenses, etc. can be adopted by the accountant for measurement of income of the entity. So, you know about the depreciation. So, there are various methods like straight line method, written down value method. So based on the accountant's personal bias, he may select any of the method, which may not hold good for the organization, and thereby it affects the accuracy of accounting information. So here certain decisions will be taken by the accountant himself, which may go wrong sometimes. Hence, the income arrived in certain cases might be incorrect due to lack of objectivity. So, based on objectivity, whatever the decisions which is taken by the accountant may go wrong. So, this is a disadvantage where the accounting information is based on accountant's personal information. Next one is recording of fixed asset at the original cost. So here the fixed asset is recorded in terms of original cost, but do you think the value of fixed asset will be same? No, it keeps on decreasing. So it keeps on depreciating. So if we record the value of the fixed asset in its original cost, then also the accuracy of accounting information goes wrong. There can be difference between the original cost and the current replacement cost. In the sense, the original cost of the asset at which the asset is being obtained or asset is being acquired. So, if we take the original cost of the asset and if we take the current replacement value of the asset, there is a lot of difference, because fixed asset year after year, the value of an asset goes on decreasing or diminishing. What we call it as depreciation. So here the current replacement cost of a fixed asset due to passage or effluence of time, change in technology, etc. Thus the balance sheet may not show the true financial status of the entity. So here, as we all know, we have to calculate depreciation for the fixed asset, because due to passage of time or due to outdated technology, the value of an asset goes on decreasing year after year. So if we are going to record in the balance sheet the actual value of the asset, then the financial statement goes wrong. So we have to record as per the current value of the asset after deducting the depreciation. Next one is manipulation of accounts. What do you mean by manipulation? Here, instead of showing the true position of the business, so we are showing a fake position, that is a positive position of the business organization. So suppose if the organization have earned a profit of just rupees 50,000, but we are showing it as 1 lakh. So here we are just going to manipulate. We are cheating the users. So we are just going to manipulate or showing the positive results of an organization. So this also can happen. The accountant or management can manipulate or misrepresent the profits of an entity. So as I've already told you, suppose the organization have earned a profit of rupees 50,000, but the accountant may show it as rupees 1 lakh. So here we are just manipulating or misrepresenting the organization. That is known as manipulation of accounts. Next disadvantage is that money as a measurement unit changes its value. Of course, we know we have to record the transactions that can be measured only in terms of money. But do you think the value of the money will remain same? No, it keeps on changing. So those changes also affects the accounting. So stability in the value of money is not possible. So there is no chance that the value of money remains change year or remains same year after year. So it keeps on changing. So accounting information will not show the true financial position if changes in the price level are not considered. So while recording in the books of account, we have to take into consideration change in the price value of money also. So if we don't consider that, then the accuracy of financial position is wrong. So this is known as what? Money as a measurement unit changes its value. It tells that whenever the money value changes, we have to record those changes in the financial statement. But we will not record that. We will record the actual value, what is there or what the transaction have taken place. But if we consider last year and this year, so here this year value, the money value of or the price of money will keep on changing year after year. So here we can't consider or we can't compare from this year to the last year because due to changes in the money value. So this is also one of the disadvantage here. So we have to consider the changes in money value. That is, whenever we are going to record the transactions in the books of account. So these are the few disadvantages of accounting. So in my next session, I am going to discuss the next concept, that is bookkeeping, accounting as well as accountancy. Let us see what is the meaning of bookkeeping. So how different bookkeeping is different from accounting and accounting from accountancy. Next, interested users of information. As I have already told you, there are number of users who are dependent on accounting information, whom we call it as interested users. It may be internal users or external users. Let us see who are internal users and external users. Next one is branches of accounting. So accounting is not a smaller concept, so it is a wide concept where number of divisions is there in accounting. So let us see what are those branches of accounting in my next session. So my dear students, hope you have understood today's session. See you all in my next session with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you.